well, you raised that. I think you were quoted in a couple places as saying that you have to trust or find the most interesting part of a story. And people are always asking how you come up with your ideas. Is that radar in your gut? I mean, how do you know what will be interesting, or what guides you in terms of finding a story?
Well, most things are interesting. So I firmly believe that if you sit down and you talk to almost anyone for long enough, you can find something that's interesting. That person, the person who you're talking to, will not always know that what they're saying is interesting. One of the things that happens to us as individuals is that we completely lose track about what's interesting about us. In fact, usually what someone thinks is interesting about them is not what's interesting about them.
So how does your day work? Do you get up early and go to the coffee shop, or do you take a run, or are you talking to your editor every day?
No, I don't really talk to my editor much. I've been working on this book, David and Goliath, for the last 2 years. So, I was doing reporting a lot, or I was going to the Bob's library.
And when you're writing this new book, is it sometimes paralyzing or pressuring to know that it will be a bestseller? I mean, you're right. Most people don't write a book knowing it's going to be on the bestseller list, and that has to be, as good as it is, also a huge burden on a certain level.
I don't think of it as a burden. I think it is the opposite. I think the burden would be if no one had read my 4 previous books, and that's a burden. I think of it as being, people have kind of let you into their house, right? And so the pressure's off. You know, people have demonstrated a willingness to listen to me ramble on.
So can you tell us about the new book? Because obviously,
yeah, it's. I'm at that stage where it's very hard for me to describe it simply. I don't have a kind of, but the thing that got me interested, or this is the best way to describe it conceptually. The story of David and Goliath, my book's called David and Goliath, is problematic. And it's problematic because David meets Goliath on the plains of Elah, wherever it is, above Jerusalem. Goliath is infantry. David is a slinger, right? There's no cavalry around. In any conflict between slinger and infantry, slinger wins. David is the favorite. Anyone who would look at the two of them would say it's over. David wins. And in fact, the moment Goliath realizes that David has broken the rule of the engagement, he's not going to engage in single combat, sword to sword. He's going to come at him with his sling. Goliath knows it's over. He's like, it's right? So why have we told this story for 3,000 years wrong? So I think that's fascinating, because I think it suggests to me that there is something fundamentally amiss with the way we understand advantage and disadvantage in any kind of conflict or contest. So what the book does is it goes through and talks about, okay, if that's the case, what do we get wrong about disadvantage, and what do we get wrong about advantage? What are cases of advantages that are actually disadvantages, and what are cases of disadvantages that are actually advantages? So and I think that one of the things that enfeebles Goliaths is they don't understand the extent to which, at a certain point, privilege becomes self-defeating, and the kinds of things that come with power. And I have a whole nother riff about, is there such a thing as making too much money in terms of your children's well-being, right? And there clearly is. And what I did for there, I just interviewed billionaires and the children of billionaires. It's really interesting.
And they're honest?
Yeah, they're very honest. And the overwhelming conclusion from that was that if you care about your children, you should not become very wealthy, right?